The board requested an update, that we update the long-range planning study that was done by the district back in 2011 and again in 2016. And Western Suffolk BOCES, who we commissioned the first 2 times, are in the process of finalizing the updated report. So we had provided them with all of the information, and they have everything they need, and we expect those results shortly. As of today, these are the projected average class sizes for the 2021-22 school year. I am pleased that we are able to maintain these levels by presenting a budget, that supports a well-rounded instructional, socio-emotional, and extracurricular program, as well as addressing some of our facility and equipment needs. We are still in the process of enrolling incoming kindergarten students. I've never put a TBD up on the slide before, but we have many outstanding registrants at this time. In 2 buildings in particular, there are a significant number of children that we know about who are not registered, so it would be premature to share any numbers at this point. We will be sending a letter to those families within the week. Additionally, we know that there will be some adjustments to the various class assignments and needs based on the annual review process and CPSE, CSE meetings. Some of our students will attend special education programs outside of their home schools in another school in the district, and some may attend schools outside of the district, and those changes are not yet available for representation here. Typically, we do not finalize that process until sometime in the late spring. But if there is any variation to the projections, staffing will be adjusted accordingly. And needless to say, we monitor these numbers very closely throughout the spring and summer.
So if I could just interrupt for 1 second, I'm sorry.
Sure.
Kindergarten, you don't have numbers for that because you're not going to enroll them, or you're not confident that you have?
Well, I'm not confident that those are accurate representations right now. It looks in some buildings as though class sizes would be around 14 for kindergarten. We know that's not realistic, because we know how many kids are still out there that are of kindergarten age.
Yeah.
So that's our concern right now. Hopefully we'll have those numbers for you by the next budget workshop, which will be 2 weeks out. Know that these numbers also represent one additional elementary section, which I believe Mrs. Pilati sent home on Friday. We do anticipate that we will need another elementary section for next year. We do have 3 elementary teachers retiring. Those will be announced on Thursday evening at the board meeting, but we do need to replace all 3. So are there any questions? Okay, so I'll turn it over to Mrs. Morrison. Oh, okay, I stand corrected. The allowable levy factor was 1.23, not 1.47. But with all of the changes in it.
1.6 is correct.
1.6 is ours, correct.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for the 21-22 curriculum and budget presentation. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the administrators that are in the audience this evening, all of which have helped me prepare for our presentation this evening. From the pre-K classrooms in our elementary schools to the AB and IP classes at the high school, the students of West Islip are provided with a vigorous curricular program that includes robust athletic teams, renowned music and arts programs, and a myriad of extracurricular activities. Despite the challenges faced throughout the school year by the COVID-19 pandemic, whoops, sorry, didn't have myself. Sorry about that. Despite the challenges faced throughout the school year by the COVID-19 pandemic, our administrators, teachers, students, staff, and parents have discovered new and innovative approaches to teaching, learning, and supporting one another in our new normal, so that the continuity of instruction could remain intact to the extent possible given these extreme circumstances. While we remain focused on our students' acquisition of academic skills, the mental health and wellness of our students is equally important. They are living through unprecedented times that have uprooted daily routines, radically impacted socialization experiences, precluded the ability to celebrate rite of passages, to name a few. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all district stakeholders for doing an incredible job over the past 12 months with supporting the overall well-being and academics of our students under a very challenging situation. For the 2022 school year, I am very pleased to report that we will maintain all current instructional programs, the resources utilized to effectuate them, including enrichment opportunities provided K-12 via sporting events, musical performances, clubs, activities, and mental health initiatives. We'll start this evening with information and instructional technology. The focus of the Information and Instructional Technology Department is to provide district stakeholders with reliable, sustainable, and up-to-date technology that supports the ongoing academic advancements of our students. The information displayed in front of you encompasses and proposes the following for next year's budget. Smartboard replenishment at the elementary schools and Beach Street Middle School. It should be noted that the smartboards at the high school and Udall Road Middle School were recently replenished. The replenishment in cycle ensures that we have up-to-date technology without incurring costs all at the same time. Continued insurance and maintenance costs associated with the one-to-one devices that our students and staff utilize. The replenishment of expired Chromebooks at the elementary and high school levels. The Chromebooks of our current seniors will be repurposed down to our elementary schools, and next year's seniors, juniors, and sophomores will receive new devices as the life cycles for their current devices will soon expire. In addition, the current 5th grade class, so next year's 6th grade, will also receive new Chromebooks. We are also proposing the addition of one technology integration specialist at the elementary level. The district currently employs one technology integration specialist district-wide. The proposed addition of a technology specialist at the elementary schools will support the continued effective expansion and use of instructional technology programs and devices by our students and staff. Additional information in regard to that position will be provided later in the presentation when staffing and program proposals are made. Updates will continue to our wireless infrastructure at the high school, and the ongoing replenishment of servers district-wide are encompassed in the budget, as well as the maintenance of the NIST cybersecurity framework that protects our infrastructure, and maintenance of the asset management system that is utilized to identify, account for, and track the district's IT devices. And of course, ongoing professional development. Ms. Fulton and the IT department are to be commended for the continued advancement of instructional technology throughout the district. To say that we have accomplished great things over the past 12 months would be an understatement. And in speaking with colleagues in surrounding districts, I'm very proud to be standing here in West Islip with all that's been done with our technology.
Mr. Larson, what do we figure in the cycle, the replenishment cycle on the smartboards and Chromebooks at this point, planning forward?
That is a really great question. Mrs. Fulton, do you, not to put you on the spot, but.
So every Chromebook has a life expectancy. So the current models we have now are expired in 2022. The next models after that, 2024. So working our way using our asset system is helping us to plan those replenishment cycles so that we can kind of redistribute the Chromebooks instead of having to go and just purchase more. And so we really get the most life out of them. Also with the smartboards have an 8 to 10 year lifespan. However, we're seeing some of our original smartboards that were purchased in bulk started to fail at the same time, so they replaced a lot of them at one time. So now, instead of doing all of them in one school, we're doing 10 at this school, 10 at that school, because it'll help us with the replenishment going forward.
What in terms of planning, 8 to 10 years?
8 to 10 years, I would probably, my personal opinion, probably closer to 8.
And right on cue for the IT department slide, we are live and up and running with Mr. Weber up in our booth. As previously noted, the district continues to keep the mental health and physical wellness of our students a top priority. Physical activity in our PE classes and opportunities for students to learn how to deal in healthy ways with the pressures of everyday life in our health classes are looked forward to by our students. I have myself been privy to several emails so far this year sent to our physical education staff and health educators at the high school from students that have graduated several years out, thanking them for the impact that they have had. So our students really look forward to our health and physical education programs. The cost of the noted health and PE replenishment supplies are included in the budget, along with the funds to replace CPR mannequins that reach the end of their life cycles and updated golf equipment. West Islip is recognized nationwide for our renowned athletic program. All current athletic teams and extracurricular activities are maintained in next year's budget, including intramurals at the elementary, middle, and high school levels, and the ongoing use of the online athletic registration and data management system. In addition, the following has been added to the budget for next school year: a gymnastics vaulting box at the high school, which you will not see me on. Mr. Haran continues to keep all equipment and supplies related to health, physical education, and athletics on a replenishment cycle to ensure student safety, up-to-date resources, and pride for our scholar athletes and coaching staff. I think we can all see the pride on our students as they are back out on our fields and together working as teams. So thank you to Mr. Haran for all of his hard work in that regard.
And Mr. Haran, we're all good on helmets at this point?
Excuse me?
We're all good on helmets at this point?
Yes, we continue to replenish our inventory, and we are ahead of the cycle to take advantage of the newest technology that was released since 2014, 15 or so, in terms of minimizing risk.
Thank you.
Along with the replenishment of the AED supplies, uniforms, and equipment, the cheerleading and gymnastic mats will also be replenished in the upcoming school year. In the area of special education, we currently support the academic, social, and emotional needs of approximately 731 special education students. This is a reduction of approximately 25 students from last school year. These numbers fluctuate throughout any given year based on newly classified students, as well as those students that may no longer require special education services based on progress made. Mrs. Dowling, Ms. Doherty, and the district's approximately 78 special education staff members collaborate with building principals each day to ensure that the needs of all students are fully addressed in the least restrictive environment. In some cases, special education students require instructional programs and learning environments that are outside the confines of the school district. In other cases, they may need additional supports within the district to stay in the least restrictive environment. Special education costs each year are determined by the individualized needs of our students. Before you are the current and projected costs in regard to the placement and support for the district's 731 special education students. Under the direction of Mr. Allbinder and a talented group of music and art educators, West Islip Music and Arts Program continues to remain among the best throughout the nation. All current music and art programs are maintained in next year's budget. Included in the budget are software subscriptions that will provide K-12 students with authentic hands-on activities, practice and recording sessions, and exposure to countless music concepts, and upgrades to the instructional software for the graphic design and advertising classes at the high school. These programs can be utilized both in school and at home by our students on their one-to-one devices. As noted on the slide, Mr. Allbinder continues to keep all equipment and supplies related to music and art on a replenishment cycle to ensure effective learning and up-to-date equipment, instruments, and supplies for our students and staff. As part of the district's professional development plan, we will continue to support our faculty, students, and staff with the acquisition of the skills necessary to provide relevant and effective instruction throughout all curricular areas. For next school year, a focus will be placed on the continued implementation of the next generation learning standards, instructional technology, standards-based grading, mastery learning, trauma sensitivity, and cultural responsiveness and inclusivity, any other PD that is determined necessary throughout the school year based on the needs of our students and staff, and of course, mental health. As previously shared in January's curriculum and instruction update, the New York State Office of Mental Health selected West Islip as one of 6 school districts in the state to take part in a 6-month learning collaborative focused on the continued evolution of the current mental health systems and supports in place at our high school. This is a unique opportunity for the high school to engage in strategic action planning, self-assessment, coaching, technical assistance, and development and advancement of our mental health support systems at the high school level under the guidance of mental health professionals that are out in the field. The Learning Collaborative is titled SHAPE and stands for School Health and Performance Evaluation Systems. They have met several times and are meeting once again tomorrow. Information gleaned from the collaborative will be utilized to ensure that we have systems and procedures in place to support the mental health and social emotional well-being of our students. Professional development will be provided during superintendent's conference days, after school hours, and in some cases, when necessary, during the school day. West Islip is fortunate to have a talented staff with varied strengths and unique interests. In addition to outside developers this year, at some point throughout the school year, approximately 30 staff members provided relevant PD to our K-12 colleagues, and we look forward to the continuation of those collaborative growth experiences next year. The following staffing and program additions are proposed for the upcoming school year. The COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on students has highlighted the need for additional mental health support throughout the district. 1 full-time school counselor is proposed to be added. The high school currently has 5.5 school counselors, the middle schools each have 2, and the 4 elementary schools share half a counselor between the 4 buildings. The addition of 1 school counselor will provide the district with the opportunity to have a counselor dedicated solely to the elementary level, and will provide more frequent opportunities at the high school for students to access the school counselors and for the counselors to push into classroom to advance district initiatives that support the positive social, emotional, and mental well-being of our students. The high school is also currently staffed with 1 social worker. 1 additional social worker is being proposed to be added for the 21-22 school year. Next year, the high school will have approximately 1,310 students. The addition of 1 social worker will enable an increased number of students to benefit from group counseling sessions, more frequent opportunities for school staff to collaborate with the social worker in regard to identified at-risk students, and will provide parents and families of struggling students with increased support. As noted earlier in this evening's Education Committee meeting, the exit survey from the class of 2020 indicates that we have additional work to do in the areas of maintaining a drug-free environment at the high school and providing a climate that promotes diversity. The full-time addition of a social worker and school counselor will provide additional support and guidance to accomplish the aforementioned changes in the aforementioned areas. The district's instructional technology practices and platforms K-12 continue to expand and support the ongoing academic growth of our students. The district currently has 1 technology integration specialist, K-12, that collaborates and works with the instructional staff. She pushes into classrooms and works alongside teachers to support quality teaching and learning through the use of our technology programs. As our IT programs continue to expand, the addition of 1 full-time elementary technology integration specialist would provide opportunities for 1 person to focus on the elementary level and another to focus on the secondary level, which would allow increased opportunities for teachers and intern students to expand their knowledge and use of our IT programs. With the deployment of one-to-one devices to students at all levels, the utilization of a designated computer lab space in the buildings has been minimized. Therefore, an opportunity to reconceptualize the computer labs in every building is proposed in the current budget. Our school principals, along with the ELA and IT directors, have collaborated with teachers to reimagine the space into areas where students can gather to create, invent, tinker, explore, and discover using a variety of tools and materials. Such space would provide students the opportunity to develop their creativity, use trial and error to solve problems, advance communication and critical thinking skills, and discover new areas of interest. While our elementary school teachers and students have worked diligently throughout the school year to acquire grade level skills, the new normal in our schools and classrooms and instructional delivery because of COVID-19 this year and last has caused some students to continue to require additional support in the areas of reading and math, as was discussed earlier at the Education Committee meeting. Therefore, an expansion of the Summer Investigations Program is proposed for the summer, which would allow an increased number of students to partake in the 4-week program that focuses on small group instruction in the areas of reading, writing, and math. The district continues to support the school community in fostering the skills, knowledge, and mindset necessary for mental health and wellness. We will continue to make it an initiative and focus as struggling students continue to be identified each day at all levels. The community support in this endeavor throughout the past years is greatly appreciated and has led to continued expansion of our mental health support staff and other endeavors that ensure student growth and success. The district multi-tier system of supports, MTSS, is a proactive approach to meeting students' needs. It is an umbrella framework that supports both the response to intervention and the PBIS, positive behavior intervention and support process. The district utilizes MTSS to identify and support students with academic and behavioral needs in a tiered system. Intervention is targeted and is provided to students with the intent of helping the students to bridge the gap and meet grade level expectations. Growth mindset, coping skills, and strategies on how to deal with anxiety and other stressors are part of our core curriculum program. They will continue to be supported via mental health and wellness workshops for parents and students, targeted assembly programs, and character education initiatives. And now we arrive at the why. Why is West Islip such a great place for our students to learn and grow? The answer is simple and more evident now than ever before since the events that have unfolded throughout the world this past year. The COVID-19 pandemic and its far-reaching impact on society has highlighted the importance of living in a town whose residents support others by demonstrating kindness, empathy, and concern, and regularly come together to support the school district in ensuring bright, successful futures for our youngest residents. West Islip is that town. It's the town that prepares athletes for standout playing careers in college and beyond. It's the town that prepares students to pursue careers in automotive technology, culinary arts, finance, law, to just name a few. It's the town that cultivates musicians and artists starting in elementary school that pursue careers in the arts worldwide. It's the town that treats neighbors as friends and friends as family. It's the town that one generation after the next our graduates come back to raise their own children. The ongoing leadership of our Superintendent of Schools and Board of Education, as well as the support from the community, ensures the continued success of our students as they progress from one grade level to the next and eventually beyond the doors of West Islip High School. On behalf of the administrative team, teachers, and staff, thank you for your ongoing support of our curriculum and instructional programs.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Any questions?
So I think one of the things you've heard a number of times from Mrs. Morrison is the idea of replenishment. And we talked at the last meeting 2 weeks ago about presenting a budget that not only reflects what we need for 2021-22, but for the future as well. Because we can't be looking at each year in isolation. We need to be looking at what we need now and build upon it. And one of the things that the administrative team has worked very hard on over the years is getting to that cycle of replenishment. So that line is always there in the budget, and if we need it, we can build upon it, we can tap it, but we won't ever be in a position, hopefully, that we were, many years ago when the state or the federal government pulled the rug out from under us. We don't have the funding, and oh my gosh, we needed 30 smart boards all at one time. That doesn't work for any school district. So we've tried to keep that in mind as we move forward in planning this budget to continue to maintain building upon that. You'll hear from Mr. Bassi in 2 weeks and from Mr. McAlevey for when we do the security and the building and ground presentations. That same concept, we keep moving forward. So here's our budget timeline for 2021-22. We do have 2 board trustee seats open. The nominating petitions for those seats were made available yesterday at district office. Our next 2 budget work sessions will take place on March 23rd and April 13th in the middle school, Beach Street Middle School auditorium at 7:30 p.m. As I mentioned, we will be discussing buildings and grounds and security on March 23rd, and then revenue and state aid on April 13th, assuming that the state gets its act together. The most important date, of course, is that of our budget vote, which will be held on Tuesday, May 18th in the high school gym between 7 in the morning and 9 o'clock at night. So are there any questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay. I'd like to thank the administrative team for coming to support us tonight and answer any of those questions that we might not be able to address. Thank you, Mrs. Fulton and Mr. Weber, for getting us up and running on YouTube. And go Lions.
For those of you joining us at home, we realize that we had some technical difficulties to start. We apologize for that, but the version that we get up on the internet will include the very beginning of the presentation, so you'll be able to see anything that you missed. Okay. So those of you at home, thank you for joining us. Have a good evening. Be safe and be well.